Welcome back to CryptoBanter.com. I'm Crypto Man Run, coming to you live every single day at 10 a.m. EST. Yep, we chose 10 a.m. EST because we want to bring our crypto wisdom to crypto enthusiasts live around the whole world, because we know that you need live trading information to make your decisions. You can't wait 3-4 hours. You can't listen to podcasts that are 3 or 4 days old, and that's what Crypto Banter is here for. So it's 7 a.m. on the West Coast. Wakey, rise and shine. It's a bull market out there, and it's full-blown alt season. 10 a.m. in New York City, 3 p.m. in Europe, 5 p.m. in Africa. Let's get this show on the road. And remember, a few days ago, I told you guys to stop watching the mainstream media, because if you did watch the mainstream media, you would have seen that we were in a 3-day bear market. I mean, get this. If you look at what CNN published 3 days ago, it said Bitcoin plunges more than 20% in 3 days. It's now in a bear market. Just 2 days later, the same journalist on the same publication publishes this. Bitcoin prices roar back towards $40,000. Guys, I warned you about the mainstream media, and I'm telling you again, rather get your crypto information from places like this or specialists in crypto. And speaking of specialists in crypto, today we're going to look at the biggest buyers of crypto, and that, of course, is Grayscale, because they published their annual report for Q4 of 2020, and there are a lot of clues in those numbers. If you remember, a few days ago, we told you that the applications for Grayscale had opened again and that they're going to start buying, and buying they did. They bought over 2,350 Bitcoin in 1 day, and that is exactly what sent the price up. So let's look at the numbers and see if we can get any more clues as to when it's time to buy and when it's time to sell. And if you are holding ETH, we may have some really good news for you. We may have found a way for you guys to make 100x returns with very, very, very low risk. Yep, that's what you're going to be listening for. And then there's one token that's going to do 10x in 2021, or we think it's going to do 10x in 2021. We're going to tell you what it is. But if you can guess what it is, put it in the comments. It's a lower risk token. If you can guess what it is, then hit it into the comments, and maybe I'll give you 100 Cardano, because remember, we are giving away 1,000 Cardano over the course of this campaign. We want to reward our viewers not only for viewing, but for liking and subscribing and sharing the crypto love. And then, of course, it's alt season. Yep, it's full-blown alt season out there. Everything's running. I don't know if you guys saw Chainlink today. We're going to get the masters on again. We got Big Cheds, the master. We got Mr. Biz coming on the show today, full of calls. And we've got a new Bitcoin guru on the show for you guys right here on CryptoBanter.com. So if you are watching this, give us some love. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. That is how we get our content out to the rest of YouTube. And effectively what we do then is we shill our bags. I'll catch you just after the break when we start the show.
Crypto Banter is the world's first interactive social cast for the crypto community. Get the latest news, views, interviews, and live conversations with crypto enthusiasts from around the world. This is where you call in, you make the show, and you bring the banter. That's CryptoBanter.com, where you talk crypto.
Yep, CryptoBanter.com, where you talk crypto. And of course, this is a call-in show, and I encourage you guys to call in. If you want to call in, go to our website, which is www.cryptobanter.com. When you get to our website, hit the call-in section, and you can call in. And of course, if you want, you can remain anonymous. We know that you guys want to remain anonymous. You don't want to reveal your identity. We're not going to dox you. So hit that call-in button and join our show. Call us. Let's banter. We've got a lot of banter here today. NMTD, I see you in the chat, and I am going to bring you in today. I know you've been trying to call us all week. I've also got a whole lot of big guests for you today. But first, let's get the show on the road. And as I said to you, Grayscale, who are the biggest buyers of Bitcoin today, published their annual or their Q4 numbers last year and their annual numbers. And there's a lot of exciting things in the numbers. I want to just show you the interview with Michael Sonnenschein, who is the CEO of Grayscale. And after that, we'll dig into the numbers and see if there are any clues there that tell us about adoption or who is buying or when we should be buying to make sure we buy before them.
Michael Sonnenschein, CEO of Grayscale Investments. Michael, thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
So given these numbers that you just released, I'm kind of curious. I mean, this makes sense to me, right? Especially with institutional money coming in. It's a way to have exposure to Bitcoin. You don't have to own the coins. It's more liquid. You don't have to worry about like forgetting your passwords, which is something that we talked about on our air yesterday and is a big issue for some of these stranded Bitcoin millionaires. On the other side, though, I mean, for the Bitcoin purists, the crypto purists, in some ways it almost kind of gets away from the whole point of what these cryptos were created for in the first place. I guess I wonder how you see this market now growing and evolving, especially with institutional players getting more in the mix.
Well, there's really no question that what we saw throughout 2020 really is a crypto market that was not the same as what we saw in 2017. This market has matured, not just in terms of the types of investors getting involved and the size of the allocations they're making, but also the market dynamics. There's a two-sided market. There's options, there's derivatives, there's lending and borrowing. And so when you have those kinds of dynamics at play in the market, it's drawing in a lot more participation from the institutional community. And certainly at Grayscale, like Kate said, last year we brought in over $5.7 billion, which is over 4 times the amount of money we raised in the previous 6 years combined. So institutions are really showing up to this asset class in a meaningful way.
Hey, Michael, it's Josh Brown. So you were sitting in my office, I think it's a year ago this week or this month, and you told me exactly how the next rally in Bitcoin would play out, that it would be institutional in nature. And the case that you made was, for Grayscale, for your product, was that you had something that was worth more than anything else, which is a ticker symbol and or a QSIP. And if you don't have a ticker symbol and or a QSIP, it's very hard to get institutions involved because they want to own this stuff at custodian brokerage firms that they work with, that they trust. Okay, so you nailed it, and that's exactly how this year played out. One component of the asset management industry that has not yet come in, and I think this is probably due to fears about regulation, is my component, the wealth management side. So now we have family offices, hedge funds, okay, they're in. We've got large asset managers, they're in. When do you see financial advisors start to make use of stuff like Grayscale Bitcoin Trust and or other products that give them that ticker, that QSIP, that ability to be involved at the brokerage firm level?
I think it's a great question, Josh. I think looking
I'm really good at this.
The number of inquiries that Grayscale is getting every day from the RIA community, the FA community, it's coming up in conversations with their clients, whether it's client directed, saying to their advisor they want exposure to Bitcoin or crypto in general, or advisors themselves, like you, have gotten bit by the crypto bug and are realizing that it makes sense in their client portfolios. We're fielding a tremendous amount of inquiries about this. And so I would venture to guess that this year you will start seeing the emergence of a lot more participation from that community. And I think the biggest aspect of it is education.
So yeah, he's saying that 2017 was very different from the 2020 rally, and I think I agree with him. And if you didn't watch my interview with Yoni Assia, the CEO of eToro, you should go and take a look at it. It's on the YouTube. It really does give a lot of insights about where we are. I saw this meme today earlier on. I've got to show it to you guys. I think it's amazing to show us how the markets are different between 2017 and 2021. We have a whole lot of very different players. I don't know if you remember the John McAfee days where he used to shill a token. He used to charge $150,000 a tweet. And today the market is obviously a very completely different market. But let's actually look at the numbers, because here the numbers are what we need to look at. So the highlights of the Grayscale report are that in Q4, the total investment into Grayscale product in one quarter was $3.3 billion. Now you take that across the whole year where they only brought in $5.7 billion. And it means that in one quarter, they did almost 60% of the entire year's numbers, which means that demand is increasing. Now, where is the demand coming from? Well, 93% of the demand is coming directly from institutions, which is a very, very, very different picture from 2017. Have a look at this. So institutional investors made up 93% of their Q4 and 87% of their entire year. So what we're saying is that the institutions are starting to buy at an increasing rate. Now, how big is Grayscale in the big scheme of things? Well, let's look at the crypto that these guys own. Today, they own about 3.3% of all the Bitcoin in circulation. Now, remember, that's not actually the real number, because of the Bitcoin in circulation, there are a lot that are lost and are gone forever. And in the beginning of 2020, they they only held about 1.45%. And they keep buying and buying and buying. They own 2.61% of all the ETH. The one token, of course, that they're not holding is XRP. And that's, of course, because Grayscale announced the other day that they're going to be selling all their XRP. So these guys are big. And as we mentioned to you the other day on the show, they are back in the market and they are starting to buy. And we can expect that in about 3 to 4 weeks, they're going to have a huge surge, because what they're doing is they're taking all these applications from people and they're only processing them very, very slowly. In fact, they said that they'll only be able to allow people who applied in the last week to trade in 3 or 4 weeks. So very, very, very big. Another thing to look out for is that they haven't yet started buying Ethereum. So whereas Bitcoin got a huge pump when they started buying, they haven't yet started buying for the Ethereum trust. That trust is not open yet. And so that when they do take applications, they will start, you can expect the Ethereum numbers to go up. Now, I've got Jonathan Mary with me, and he's seeing some more adoption, which is actually separate to Grayscale adoption. Grayscale paints an amazing picture of institutional adoption. I think you're going to tell me more about the retail adoption.
Yep. So first of all, Ron, great to be on the show again. It's been a while, and I'm happy to share some of the insights that we're seeing. So as you know, Superfly Insights tracks consumers. We have an opt-in panel with tens of thousands of users, and we track all their transactions online. And what we've done recently is look at Cash App. This is Square's peer-to-peer app, which was initially set up to send money to your buddy. You went out, you had a drink, you want to split the bill, and then it slowly evolved into kind of a full suite of products for consumers. Do you want me to share my screen so I can show you some of the details on that?
Love for you if you just share your screen. And while he is sharing his screen, you guys know the drill. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, make some comments, give us some love. And I'm going to look at the comments. Who's going to win 100 Cardano? Who's going to win 100 Cardano? Who's going to win 100 Cardano? Who is going to win 100 Cardano? Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Let's see. All right, Matthias Walker, you've got yourself 100 Cardano. Our admin will ping you and get your details. And Jonathan, we're going to share your screen. Tell us what you're seeing on the Cash App.
So this is a Square's Cash App. It was a simple application launched by the Square team. And initially, what you can see here that people are using it to send and receive money from their friends. Over time, it evolved into making various payments. But what's really interesting, and those payments were the typical Amazon, Apple, Facebook, etc. But where this becomes really interesting is when they introduced Bitcoin buy and sell features into the app. So these are not the super high-end Grayscale guys, but these are the more the retail users, younger users. And if you look at the numbers here, this is 2020 data. Starting in January, where the index is about 100 for the buy for Bitcoin transactions. If you look through the year, it kind of goes up and down, and then it really starts skyrocketing over Q3 and Q4, where the transactions that we saw in December alone were 25x the number of transactions that we saw back in January. So this is not 250%. This is 25x, 25 times the number of transactions. So this is really telling in terms of seeing where consumers are going, how they're purchasing Bitcoin. So it's not necessarily going to Binance or signing up to Coinbase, but they're using PayPal, they're using Cash App, they're using apps that are much more broad-based than the types of apps that we maybe remember back in 2017, signing up to some sort of distributed exchange. This is kind of the bread and butter. Sure, go ahead.
I spoke to Yoni Asta yesterday, and that interview is a highly recommended interview. It's on our YouTube. But he told me that December was a spike. But if you think December was a spike, January, the first week in January was bigger than their entire.
Oh, yes. I have data on January as well. It wasn't for the full month, so I didn't include it here. But January is a complete explosion. So this is very, very telling, very, very specific to those types of consumers that are not the same types of consumers that were around in 2017, but rather a much broader base of users. Interestingly, if you look at the types of stocks that these guys are going after, so these are stocks that they're buying on Cash App. You see Tesla #1, Silver, Lemonade, very innovative companies, very different from maybe some of the other types of stocks that the majority of people are buying. So that's the first app. I want to talk about. There's another app I want to talk about if I have the time.
Sure.
This is, so everybody, Cash App, big app, so on. And if you take a step away from just kind of the DeFi and all the other apps, here's another app that's launching today. It's called rewards.me. It launched today on the Google Store. This actually allows people to start earning crypto for each and every transaction that they do. So you go, you download the app, you start purchasing all sorts of things in your favorite retailers, and you start getting a cryptocurrency for it. They've evolved the model where you can actually stake MDT, which is their measurable data token, to have a multiple on your earning potential. So these are the types of apps that I think are going to be very, very interesting. Essentially, if you think about every commercial app that's out there, and if you think about the entire kind of frequent flyer model where you get rewards for buying things, this is, I think, one of the first apps out there that really gives you crypto for every single transaction that you make. It's launching today. I think it's going to have a very interesting approach, especially because it introduced kind of the ability to stake crypto into it in order to get a multiple on your earning potential.
Unbelievable. We'll keep following. Jonathan, thank you for coming onto CryptoBanter.com, man.
And I'll do one last point. I know you're interviewing the mayor of Miami next week, just to tie all this together. Looking at Uber transactions, comparing Uber in San Francisco versus Uber in Miami. For the first time this quarter, Miami eclipsed San Francisco in terms of the overall number of rides. So this is well before the December 3rd law that you have to stay in place. But really, like, things are happening, things are shifting. I think the balance of power is shifting to Miami. This is very interesting.
I mean, this guy's doing amazing things. I can't actually wait to interview Francis Suarez. That is live on CryptoBanter.com, and that's on Tuesday, 10 a.m. EST. This guy is amazing. I mean, he's transforming the whole of Miami, and I'm so glad you gave me that stat. Jonathan, thank you. Always.
Thank you so much. Always a pleasure to be here.
Thank you, man. And now, guys, I was going to teach you how to make 100x returns on your ETH, but 100% returns on your ETH, but I'm rather going to bring the master back because you guys are all in the comments going crazy, calling for the master. So I'm going to bring Big Cheds back. Cheds, the master, welcome back to CryptoBanter.com.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. A little uncomfortable with that name. There's a movie called The Master that my wife still hasn't forgiven me for taking her to, so a little uncomfortable there.
Okay. Well, listen, they call you the master. It's not me. It's the people in the group, in the chat. They say you're the master. So we saw Bitcoin. We saw this head and shoulders, which never actually materialized, or maybe did materialize. And then we went up, and now it looks like we are coming down again. Are we coming down again?
I mean, it depends what kind of time frame you look at. You have to, when you decide, are you uptrend or downtrending, what's your time frame? We're clearly in a long-term uptrend. Let's just look at the chart. They don't want to look at our faces. Or really your face. Nobody wants to see mine, but let's take a look at the chart here, and we can kind of go from there, see how we feel about the price action.
All righty, let's go. You're going to share your screen, and this is the part that I love. We did a little charting course with a Coach K last week. If anybody, it's really the basics of how to set up your charts, and then we're going to continue that either with Big Cheds or with Coach K at some point. So, yeah, tell us what we're looking at in the charts.
Well, he does a great job. I think you have to recognize clearly we have a long-term uptrend. This is a daily chart. We just don't have like a multi-month, horizon here, just a few months. It really depends on when you got in. If you jumped in up here, you're feeling a little bit of pain, but you have to understand that this is a really volatile asset. It's used to having these big pullbacks. And in my opinion, we're obviously still uptrending. The question is, where do we find a bounce? I still have a bullish bias. I still think we are looking to buy the dip. I think what we want to do is identify key levels that will provide as likely support or likely demand levels on a pullback. I think we've clearly kind of established one of those for now. So what we are in right now is what's called an equilibrium. Equilibrium is a rebalancing between the bulls and the bears. So what you want to look for is things that everyone can kind of agree upon on the chart. We can all agree this is our local high. I think we can all agree we have a lower high here. So if you have a lower high, we have a low and a higher low. We have a kind of a pattern where we're bouncing in between this until we get to what is a decision point. Okay, you can draw a triangle, a symmetrical triangle if you want, but really you want to just focus on the highs and the lows. So the name of the game for bulls will be to really cement this area as a higher low. For bears, they want to make sure that bulls do not advance past that level. So we have kind of a rebalancing here. And what's likely to happen is this is going to be a narrowing range. It's going to narrow a little bit. We'll see these Bollinger Bands catch up. We'll see these moving averages catch up, and we'll reach our decision point. If you're lost on any time frame, just step out. All right, let's go to the weekly chart. We're already in the weekly chart. Well, we're in a nice bullish uptrend on the weekly chart. We have 3 days left in this candle. It's a spinning top, which is a small real candle body. It's within the prior range, so it's an inside bar, both the high and low of this candle, of the prior candle. It's an inside bar, which is a pausing candle. It shows there's bullish momentum, but there's a little bit of pausing. You need consolidation. You need your oscillators to catch up. You need your RSIs to cool off. You need people who are speculators who've jumped in and they see a little bit of red and they sell. You need that to happen. And you have to understand the backdrop. You did a great job in the intro, Rand, talking about the institutional accumulation, talking about 3.3% with Grayscale, and you mentioned the coins that are lost forever. I think that's something we have to also remember. Every day there's less Bitcoin to buy and sell, right? Because it's being accumulated. It's being put in these cold wallets and these hard wallets. That means there's a natural increasing bullish force. Every day there's a natural increasing bullish force because there's less to play with. So that's the backdrop for this consolidation. Okay.
Here's an interesting stat for you. Grayscale, the average, the daily number of Bitcoins that are minted from new mining is 900 Bitcoins a day. Grayscale, on average, is buying 2,300 Bitcoin a day. That is one buyer in the market.
It's unbelievable. Yeah.
It's unbelievable. And it doesn't look like it's going to stop, or certainly doesn't look like it's going to stop anytime soon. Chits, so yes, Bitcoin kind of moving sideways. I don't really mind Bitcoin moving sideways because I think Bitcoin had a run. And now we're looking at the alts. Now, there was one alt that you called at 780 on the show, and that was DOT. You said buy DOT at 780. I put in my orders at exactly 780. I got hit on my orders at 780. Now, 1317. Do I sell? Do I buy more? Or must I be patient?
Well, first of all, no matter what you're going to do, you must be patient. I think it depends on how you've played it. Let's talk about how this trade was developed, why we targeted DOT. What you want to understand is you want to, as a technician, you want to identify a trend. If it's an uptrend, you want to ride it. So here in DOT, we had a pretty well-established uptrend, and I'll just clean things out. We'll do it from scratch. We had a pretty well-defined uptrend. Now, at this point, we were starting to roll over a little bit. You would establish kind of a short-term supply or a level, short-term resistance level right here around 10.50. We started to see this rolling over. We're starting to lose. Now, at this point, right there, boom, you lost that low right around 850, a little bit of a warning sign. At that point, you're thinking, where is it likely to pull back to? What you need to understand as the price moves up, when it consolidates, when it digests all the prior price action, it rebalances. You have these kind of consolidation zones. Here we have kind of a bull flag or an ascending triangle, if you will. That right there is a kind of a key level to enter. I mentioned right around in between here, I gave bulls a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. So I was actually looking slightly above this price cluster, anticipating kind of anxious buyers. So you said you got in at 780. You say, hey, Cheds, I went to 710. Good enough. It's not about nailing the bottom. The most important thing is to identify the correct direction rather than identifying the bottom. Right?
I'm happy at 780. The question is, if I look at that chart, it looked like it broke through the high again. Mm-hmm. So if you draw a line over there, it broke through the high again. Mm-hmm. And now what you taught us in the last show was wait for it to come back and consolidate again.
Boom.
So there are a lot of viewers that are watching this and saying, look, we missed DOT. We didn't catch 780. But we now realize that DOT is going to do 10x in 2021. Is it the right time to buy in now? Or is this like a blue sky breakout where you're saying, hold on, we don't know where this is going to go. It could go to $20 now.
So my trading style, I'd say no, because what I try to avoid doing is buying in the middle of a channel, in the middle of a move. I need to give myself an ability to exit if I make a mistake. You have to no matter what, you're going to try to find a way to screw it up. That's just human nature. I do it all the time. So what I would rather do is actually have bought right at the breakout. If I had bought right here in the breakout, I could use that as my stop loss. At this point, I either want a new breakout. I might consider buying a new breakout, but I'd rather wait for a pullback to support. We have a very likely, kind of a very well-established area of demand. And if you look at these charts, very often they stair step. Here's a level. right? Here's a level. So what is a stair step? If you think about it like you're walking up the stairs, you're going to bed, whatever you're doing, you kind of come, you stair step. We're trying to do that. So in order to do that, we come back to a likely demand level. What you want to do is set some bids here at 10, 9, 11, right around that level. We don't know what Bitcoin's going to do. If Bitcoin drops $1,000, Rand, it's going to pull these alts down with it. So it's a general idea. Even though you love it, you think it's going $100, you're in some Telegram group, you're in some Discord group that's telling you $50. Don't just buy it, because buy it, but have like a super tight stop loss. Ideally, wait for a value. You want to buy an uptrend on the dip. It's the easiest formula in the world if you stick to it.
Yeah, so you're talking about the charts, and as you said, you're a chart nerd. I want to talk a little bit about the fundamentals of DOT. And you guys, in the title of the video, I said to you guys that this token will do 10x in 2021, and I think it's one of the lower risk tokens. I mean, of course, crypto is completely high risk, but this is one of the lower risk tokens. I want to talk to you about the fundamentals. DOT has solved or is solving two unbelievable problems that exist in blockchain. One is scalability, and one is interoperability. And they've done this in an unbelievable way, where they've got a main chain and then they've got these parachains, which they're going to start auctioning off. If you look at the market cap of DOT today, even after the run, the market cap of DOT today is about $11 billion. At the same time, if you've been watching my shows, I've said that DOT now has the network effect. It has the most exciting projects building on it. I don't know if you guys saw, but Polkastarter yesterday was listed on Huobi. Polkastarter went to $1.30 or something like that. That is 100x return for the original investors, and that's making a statement of where they think the Polkadot ecosystem is going to go. So to me, if you ask me, at a 10 billion market cap, if we continue in a bull market, I think that DOT can get to 100 billion by the end of the year. And I think that even though you may say, hold on, that's catching up to Ethereum's market cap, I'm saying that's cool. But by that time, Ethereum will be at $200 or $300 billion. So for me, DOT is a relatively safe bet. I keep saying, buy Bitcoin, buy Ethereum, and buy DOT. Those are the HODL portfolios.
I think, look, if you're going to, I'm not a, I don't know the market the way you do, Rand, and you do a great job of kind of looking at the fundamentals. I stick to what I know. I read technical textbooks. I follow the price action. I look at the psychology of the market. I look at sentiment. I see their sentiment. It's a bullish momentum. If you're in college and you're on frat row and you're looking for a party, you don't go to the house where no one's inside. There's no party. You follow the action. DOT has the action. So that would seem to back up.
I love
right?
that.
That would seem to back up what you're saying, Rand. So
I love that. All right, Chid, Chainlink. New highs today. Everything else is going down. Chainlink is going up. I think you may have mentioned it on the show the last time you were here, and then it was like kind of at the bottom of the channel. The last I saw it, $20.80 or something like that. Where is Chainlink right now?
I've never heard of that one before, but no, I'm just kidding. Let me pull it up for you. That's a very popular altcoin. It's kind of the same idea for me in the sense that I like to play what has action. So like, Link has generally been uptrending. Here's the daily chart. When we have these kind of big, big Bitcoin moves, what I like to do is kind of go to like a 1 hour chart, and I'm looking for these like lower Bollinger dips, here, these kind of short-term oversolds. Link has just been really impressive. It's been kind of stair-stepping. If we go in the daily chart, we should really just jump. What should jump right out is we're right here. Look at that August high. So if I'm a bull, let's remove these Bollingers just to make it a little bit easier. If I'm a bull, what I'm thinking is, can we do what is called a cup and handle here? And how would that work? That would work. We would do something like this, kind of a rounded thing. And then we do something like this right here, assuming you get some type of a short-term rejection. And this was actually my original thesis for Bitcoin at 20K. It did not happen. We blasted right through it. But you could see potentially a short-term rejection here. We already have that little bit of an upper shadow. A pull back to your prior level. We understand the principle of polarity in that these prior resistance levels are often turned into support. That'd be kind of a nice way to look at it. If that's our thesis, then we'll step out, look at the unbalanced volume. Unbalanced volume is more or less confirming the trend. We have a little bit of a bearish divergence vis-a-vis lower highs in the OBV versus the price, but generally it's a pretty solid, a pretty well-established uptrend with no real warning signs. I wouldn't be jumping in here. It's not my style. What I would do if I like it, my first aggressive buy might be there, maybe $18, but I'd probably be waiting a little bit lower, 16, something like that. I'm not going to buy in right at support. I'd want to see it recapture this level like $20. That's a big level, Rand. We went from 14 to 20. You're going to have profit taking. You have to expect that, but that's okay. There are people who buy because they know the technology like you, and there's people who buy like me because I want to turn $1 into $1.05 or $1.
Do you follow or do you know Altcoin Psycho on Twitter?
He's fantastic. I have a lot of respect for him.
Okay, I want to share something that Altcoin Psycho did on this show in December. I think it was the 22nd of December. Listen to this.
We could start with Sushi here, which you got pulled up. Sushi is one of my favorite charts right now. It's one of the blue chips, if you will, for DeFi. And just from a TA perspective, it looks like there's just a bunch of hot air above us, right? So if we can flip that level that I kind of drew out here, around $3.20, I don't see any reason why this can't go straight to $7, $8.
Holy moly! You're talking about a token that. So that was my reaction when Sushi was at 225. He said, "Listen, Sushi is going to $7 or $8. What's Sushi on right now?"
We're at about $6. Let's take a look at it. I'll pull up Sushi. I'll give you my 2 cents on it. I will say he's an excellent trader. When he tweets things, I tend to pay attention to them. I don't know how he knew Sushi was the best. He understood the technology. I'll give him that. What I'm looking at here is kind of this amazing volume cluster, and just kind of from understanding classical charting principles, you will have the most volume at the top and the bottom of a trend. So there's a lot of buying and accumulation, but this also makes me kind of start to look for a short-term top, just given this amount of volume. That's a lot of volume. You don't really need volume in the middle of the trend. Once you kind of establish direction, you have kind of steady volume. A lot of newer traders don't understand. They say, hey, where's the volume? If you're moving in a direction, you don't need volume. But when you get those kind of big consolidation events at the top of a trend, you get these big volume clusters. So even though this is super duper, mega, uber bullish, I would actually be looking to shave profits. I hope Psycho doesn't come after me and try to get me canceled because of this.
He said $7 or $8. So I would imagine that he is. And in fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and get him back on the show because I'd love to know what he's doing right now. Cheds, one more, and give me one that you're looking at and give us a buy because we're going into the weekend.
Right here.
Right here.
Yep, Sushi right here. Sushi at 340, 350. That's a key. I'll give you that first of all. You just quickly want to identify before you move on a kind of a key support resistance level that might flip and might provide a re-entry. So we get any kind of a ecosystem-wide pullback. I'm looking to buy Sushi at 320. You want another one, Rand? Let's go to.
I want your favorite. The one that you're looking to buy right now.
Well, you're my favorite. I'll tell you that much. But what am I looking to buy? I guess I'd be looking to buy like Dot, Uni, Link, any of these, but I want to pull back. I'm not chasing. I just don't do it. So I would pick what I like the most. Here's Uni. I look like on the daily chart. We're still early in the day, obviously, but a little bit of a pullback here. Let me pull my Bollingers back on. I'd be looking to buy here at like $5, $5.20. I'm going to identify this as a level. I'm going to mark it in my chart and I'll move on to the next one. And I'll just quickly scan through. Boom, 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 right? I'll look for the price to be at a level I've previously identified that I like. So I'll tell you, Sushi 350, Uni 540. I would say those would be nice risk reward if we can kind of get to that.
Yeah, okay. So I just want to address two things. So first of all, Cheds, a lot of people talk to me about the mask. Guys, the reason why Cheds wears the mask is because he wants to remain anonymous. And he comes onto the show. He does show us some parts of him, but he doesn't want to. But those of you who have been following me, I am the host of CNBC Crypto Trader, and I used to run a show on CNBC. And back in the day, I interviewed Cheds. And at the time, Cheds had cancer. He was quite ill, actually. He was recovering from cancer. Cheds, how are you? How is your health today?
I'm doing well. Thank you. I'm about 3 years cancer-free. I beat my lymphoma. I will tell you that I was going through chemo and I was doing your show and it was like a huge lift to me. So,
I remember this very well. And I remember that I hadn't asked you about your health and I'm glad you're in good health. We appreciate you. We appreciate all you do for the community, for us. We love you and we're going to start getting you back here at least once a week, man.
Heck yeah, man. All right. Thank you.
All right, thank you, my friend. Let's move on with the show. And I've got a caller who's been calling me every single day for the last week, and I didn't know that he was a caller. I'm going to add him to the stream. NMTD, you're a caller. You've been calling me every day. What do you want to talk about, man?
Hello, Ron. Firstly, thanks for having me here. So I want to talk about LTC and mainly the institutional buys on this.
Litecoin.
Yeah, Litecoin, yep. Right now, I believe this current bull run is obviously fueled by inflation. I think most people can agree with that. All this money printing is causing the Bitcoin price to go up. So I believe, a similar thing with silver and Litecoin is possible because, Litecoin is also a limited supply, just like BTC is. And
Just one second. We've got a caller. We've got a guy in the chat. It says, OGD Derek, my dad is recovering from cancer. We wish you and your dad a speedy recovery, and we're going to give you 100 Cardano tokens. Let's carry on with the show, man. All right. So you're saying Litecoin. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you what my view is on Litecoin. I love Charlie E, and I think Litecoin had a space in 2017, but I don't know if Litecoin wins the payment war because I don't think that it's good enough to take on Visa or MasterCard. And if it doesn't, then I'm not sure really what the value is in Litecoin if I can just keep buying Bitcoin.
Personally, I don't see Litecoin as much of a payment thing as they do. I see it a bit of a store of value, just like BTC. It's like gold and silver. And because it's limited supply, and also they're getting things like smart contract compatibility with Cardano, with Flare Network, with Tron. So these things had a.
You're saying buy Litecoin. Okay. Any specific price level you think it's going to?
The current prices are pretty good, I think, but I'm going to show you something. I'll just try to share screen.
No problem. And then we're going to bring in guys. We've got a big panel for you. We've got Bitcoin Guru, and then I've got Mr. Biz, guys. I know you guys have been asking for him. He made some calls the last time he came on the show, and every single one of those coins doubled. So I can't wait to get him back here again and find out exactly what he's going to be talking about. All right, I'm going to show you.
Yep. So, I'm a fundamental guy as well as a TA guy. I think, if you follow the smart money, you can get somewhere. If you follow the fundamentals, as I said about the inflation is what's causing Bitcoin to rise at such levels. If you look here, just for the past month, Grayscale is heavily accumulating Litecoin. They've bought over 230,000 in the past 30 days. So
okay, that's super interesting, and I'll tell you why. Because on Grayscale, if you're going to buy Litecoin, if you're going to buy the shares in the Litecoin trust, you pay a huge premium, which means that there's a short supply. And if they're starting to buy, that may actually be kind of interesting. Maybe people are seeing this as a bit of a silver.
Exactly. So this is what got my attention to it a lot, because if the smart money is buying this much, then it must mean something. And right now with the Grayscale Ethereum trust, it's offline. So people can't invest in Ethereum. The XRP trust is gone. So what altcoin are they going to buy? There's Bitcoin, and then there's the altcoins, and Litecoin is probably the best one.
Hopefully, they're going to introduce a DOT trust. They have to, because DOT is going to be the number 3 coin by the end of this year. I have no doubt.
Yeah, it looks like it's doing pretty well, and everybody's talking about it. So
amazing. All righty, I'm going to move on with the show. Thank you for calling in. We love callers like you. Keep calling in, guys. And if you do want to call in, you can call in just like NMT did, and you can even remain anonymous. All right, I'm going to bring in a new guru, and that is Bitcoin Guru. Bitcoin Guru, welcome to PetaByteCapital. How you doing?
Thank you. Good. You?
Good, man. Love to hear your calls. You sent us a whole lot of calls. Tell us what you're looking at.
Let me share my screen. Let's
After Bitcoin Guru, guys, we have Mr. Biz. Mr. Biz has always got calls for us. And then I'm going to banter with the best banter in the world. And I've got Alon Goren from Goren Holm Draper Ventures. Draper Goren Holm. You'll tell me later in the show. All right, tell me what you're looking at.
You're seeing my screen right now?
I can get your screen on. Yeah, I can see me and you. There we go. What are you looking at?
Perfect. All right. So we have Bitcoin. I want to cover Bitcoin long term. I have a lock cycle here for you. As you see, lock cycles are really good to outline the market cycle, right? You have bear cycles, bull cycles. So first thing I tell people, who are starting to dive into the market, is to literally look at the higher time frame. You have to look at the big picture. Then you dive in the short time frame, midterm time frame as well. So in this case, if you look at Bitcoin when it started, you see all these little cycles here, right? We started a bear cycle here, and then we double bottom. We started here going upwards in the bull market, and then we started a mega bull here, which I call a mega bull because we broke the all-time high. I define it as a mega bull. And then from this point forward, we started mega bull here, and then we had another cycle, 2 cycles back to back. And from here, we had the famous 2013, 2016 here. First of all, bear market, which ended in 2015 roughly, and started another uptrend here towards where we are today. So what I want to cover here.
Tell me where we're going. That's more important to me. I think the history
Where are we
all
going?
know. Yeah, where are we going?
Perfect. Let's go with that. So I think, and I've been making this call for quite a while, I think we're going to $100,000. So
Okay,
I think, I'll show you why. So you see here, there's a purple fractal that I have here. So roughly this goes back to this cycle here. It's very, very similar. You know, what I think is going to happen is pretty much, like you said on the show for the past few days, the supply of Bitcoin is extremely low. Institutions are buying like crazy. So it makes sense that we have a big supply shock right now, and it is. And you see how fitting this fractal is. So in purple here. So far it went up, right? So far, not even a single retrace except the one that we had here, right? Let me zoom in here on the daily so you can see. So we have here this neckline, and we haven't broken it. We have another one here, and we haven't broken it. So far here, you know, they're not foolproof fractals. You know, fractals are not foolproof. They may fail. However, I believe we're pulling something similar to this. You know, they're not perfect, but I believe if we hold 36,000 roughly as previous stop holding as support here, and we don't go further down here to 32, 33,000, I believe we may spring up here and go test $45,000. That's my call.
Okay. All right, amazing.
And
give me something more exotic than Bitcoin, because we do have very limited time today. I've still got two more guests. So give me your most exotic coin, the one where you think we're going to make the most money.
So we have DOT and Sushi. I have Litecoin as well if you want to overview that chart. It's a very nice chart. It's a log scale. Also outlining the cycles here. I believe Litecoin will go to 2,300, 2,400 at least. That's the first target I have for it. This is a log scale as well.
That's 20 times where it is today. Today it's 120 odd, right?
Right now it's $142.
142, okay.
142. I overlapped, just for reference, not for trading, the previous cycle, how we went, you know, on the mega bull as well, in the bull market, and we topped roughly at 350. So you see how we started here to do a rounding bottom, which is a long-term bull reversal. We did this before as well, back in 2015. So we're looking good, Ryan. We're looking good. I don't expect this to be quite the same as 2017. However, if we go up slowly from here, we can reach the target, the lower target that I have there, 2,200, 2,300, 2,400. There's actually a possibility of much bigger targets, higher targets, 3,700, 4,000, and which I think will probably be the final one.
Big numbers. Okay. Take me to DOT, because that DOT is right now my favorite token.
So DOT, there's not much data yet on it, right? So it's a new coin, went on trading around August 2020. So we have to wait. However,
question. If I missed the buy-in, if I didn't buy in at $8 recently,
right,
is there another chance for me to buy in, or should I buy in right now?
No, you probably want to wait. So you want to wait. First of all, you want to see what Bitcoin is going to do, right? Bitcoin has been dictating most of the moves for alts for the past few years. There hasn't been really for most alts in alt season. So you don't want to really go dive in and buy right now immediately. Now, if you're an investor, you want to probably look to buy somewhere on the pullback here around this area, right? You have $12, and you're buying long term as an investor, right? It's clear to me that when a bull market across the whole crypto market, so that's that. Now, if you want as well, if you don't want to risk it here at $12, you want to probably wait to see if we get a pullback right here at this previous top holding as support here around $10. Obviously, it's safer always to buy near the, like if you can, we have a defined neckline here. Yeah.
All right, look, we got to move on. I'm going to get another slot to get you on for a much longer slot, because it looks like you got very detailed charts. But I've got Mr. Biz on the line, and we've got to get him on, and I've got to be off on the hour. So I will get you back. I think your charts are amazing. You've got very detailed charts. And I want to spend some more times on your charts. So we'll get you back on next week. To my producers watching, of course they are watching, because I can see them watching. Guys, get this guy back on. Let's do it. Guys, this is the section that I've been waiting for. In fact, I've been waiting for the section for the last 2 weeks, because the last time that I had Mr. Biz on, he made some calls. I followed those calls. Some of them I actually bought. I doubled my money. And he's agreed to come on again. Mr. Biz, welcome back to Crypto Banter.
Ren, how you doing? Can you guys hear me clearly?
Yeah, we can hear you perfectly. Listen, you came onto the show last time. You made some incredible calls, man. You called Philo Network. You called, I think you called XRT. Remind me what the calls were.
TVK doubled. XRT, Ori doubled. Ori actually went from 11 to like 27. It's on a little pullback right now. K-Ton doubled, but K-Ton is very volatile. So K-Ton went from like 55 to like 100, but that doubled. And I can't remember. But just a disclaimer to your followers, that doesn't mean everything's gonna double. I look at these investments. Listen, if you do a 2-3x, man, take out your initial. But the ones I mentioned to you, as well as one I'm gonna mention again, they're long-term holds for me. I'm not trying to give somebody something that will not appreciate and value in the long term.
Okay, so first of all, I need to understand something. How do you get your calls? I need to understand the methodology, because I can't keep waiting for Mr. Biz to come on my show to tell me what to buy. I want to try and rather be more like Mr. Biz and understand the type of research that you do and how you make your calls. So give me some insight. You wake up in the morning, where do you get your information from?
First of all, ain't nobody gonna be Mr. Biz. Let's get that straight, Rand. The thing is, a lot of the FA stuff, I buy it because I think if somebody else is gonna buy it, right? So there's a lot of investor psychology that goes into this. Also, they have to have, decent tokenomics, low market cap, a good narrative, right? If it's Polkadot, NFT, if it's gaming, if it's an Oracle, right? There's a lot of really low caps, but ain't nobody gonna buy them because there's nobody marketing them. There's nobody shilling them. They have no narrative behind them. Yes, guys, narrative hype matters. Who is shilling your bags doesn't matter. But you do need good fundamentals as well. So there's a lot of things involved. There's a lot of, if you look like a matrix in my head, like, when I rank things, tokenomics, supply, team, has it had a hype cycle? There's a lot of things that go into it. Again, you're not always going to hit. The ones I gave you last week were probably the cream of the crop and are going to be my long-term gainers, right? So again, I know, when I came on the show today, I'm like, all right, I got to give Rand something and his follow something that I know are good picks, that are safe picks, that are legitimate picks, right? So that's what I'm here today to do.
So I want to just show you. I mean, this is the chart of Ori protocol. This is when you came onto our show when it was somewhere around there.
Yeah.
I think it was.
And I gave you the bottom. I gave it to you at 11. It was $11. I gave you. Yeah. So
today,
yep.
$25. Today it's $25.
Yeah. Again, I'm really bullish on oracles, and that what happened was they redid the tokenomics. They have a mainnet coming soon. They're supposed to be getting a big exchange. They say a tier 1 exchange. And again, they're the only AI oracle. I love Link. Link is by the way, Link is one of my biggest bags. I love Link. Link is king. Link will never be beaten. But everybody's here to make money. We are here to find the best investment. We're here looking for good ROI, and Ori, with around a 10, $11 million market cap, is going to give you a great return on investment. And in my opinion, it'll give you, and I'm not going to name the other ones. You guys know what the other ones are, but it'll give you a better investment than the other ones.
All right. So the people are asking, what is your YouTube channel or what is your Twitter handle? I don't think you have a YouTube channel, but you do have a Twitter handle. What is your Twitter handle?
My Twitter handle is @ADouble212, @ADOUBLE 212. Why is it that? I live in New York. 212 is the area code of Manhattan. Also A double. Everybody brings their A game. I bring my A double game, which is just one level above everybody else.
All righty, cool. Let's talk about this week's calls. So what are we looking at this week? I mean, I've got a stash of cash. As soon as you said, I'm actually going to go put my chips on the tokens.
So this is, again, I'm a student of the game. I follow projects. I follow who invests in them. I follow who incubates them. Exceed, the ticker is XED. Now, this to me is probably the most undervalued coin. If you have seen the most recent surge in price of PokerStarter was incubated by Moonrock Capital. Moonrock Capital also incubated Z, Exceed Me, right? Exceed. This is about a $5 million market cap. Why am I so bullish? This is one of the only ones, if not the only platform, that's going to have e-gaming, DeFi, NFT on Polkadot. They actually already have an ambassador, Ricardo Fox, who is a legitimate Counter-Strike Go player or legitimate e-gamer. These guys also ran in the last 3 weeks, partnered with Blockchain Gaming Alliance, which has Ubisoft, which has a lot of big players. They also partnered with Dia, and they also partnered with Matic. This was in 3 weeks, guys. So many of you don't notice they've only been out for 3 weeks, right? And one of their founders actually was on the UTK team, right? So they have all the bullish things going on with them, and hopefully when they do move to Polkadot, they'll be hopefully migrating to Polkadot later this year. But I'm really bullish. Again, there's nobody else doing e-gaming with NFTs, DeFi built on Polkadot. They've got partnerships. They've got big players backing them, right? I don't think this will fail. I don't think they will let it fail. Obviously, you see the price is down right now. But if you remember polls, and I tweeted about this, polls went from 20 cents to 70 cents. You could have made some good money there. Then polls went to 10 cents, and I told everybody to buy polls at 10 cents. Look it up. And then polls now went to $1.20. So again, these type of coins, yes, there are going to be some unlocks. You're going to see violent swings, but if you buy them cheap, guys, polls was like a $60 million market cap now. And this is the same exact team, Moonrock Capital, who incubated polls. Again, they're 1 for 1 so far, and I'm betting on that they're going to do well with this, considering what they've already done.
What do you think of my thesis that Polkadot's doing 10x this year? What do you think of my thesis that by the end of the year, Polkadot could 100 billion?
Conservatively, I think $50 easy. I do see it going to $100. And again, I did a tweet on this. Polkadot is one of the only cryptos that does not need institutional investors, because 70% of the supply is already locked in staking. More of the supply will be locked as parachains go live. To get a parachain, projects will have, like XRT and Fala, like Plasm and all these other Macala Moonbeam, they will have to stake millions of dollars of DOT, right? And that does not include the fact that more than likely Grayscale, since it's delisted XRP, and guess what flipped XRP yesterday, guys? Polkadot.
The next Grayscale trust better be the Polkadot trust, and I promise you, when that happens, I'm going to climb into that. Let's look at your next call. Your next call is 88 mph, 88 miles per hour. What is 88 mph?
So, guys, I spoke about 88 mph, last time as well, and it actually went up. It actually did pretty well. They're the only project offering a fixed rate API on chain with a real product. So they have a real product. They launched the mainnet. They're peer to contract, not P2P, right? So you don't need to do order matching. They also support iEarn financed, Harvest financed, Compound financed, and Aave, right? The other cool thing about them actually is that they have an agreement right now with Cover, and they're also going to be working with Insure to have an insurance fund financed by their treasury, right? So they have a lot of different products. They actually just also were audited by PeckShield, and a QuantStomp audit is coming out in a few days. One of the reasons I like them, again, within the DeFi community, guys, and a lot of things, guys, you don't see on Twitter, guys, there's a lot of talks on the big players in DeFi communities buying 88 mph. In fact, one of the guys I know, part of Spectre, Capo, he is big on 88 mph. He knows things, and again, he does not share a lot of things with me either, and I'm not hyping you, but big players like Capo are buying this. And as I said before, guys, the devs on 88 mph helped with Graph Protocol. They helped out with Graph Protocol. And I always look at teams, guys. And when I came on to you guys talking about Ferrum Network, I told you Ian Friend is amazing. And look what Ferrum Network did, Rand. I think you forgot that call. Since I came on the first time on your show, Ferrum Network done a 10x. And I told you Ferrum Network's gonna do.
It has indeed. It has indeed, and you did indeed. Let's look at Bondly. So Bondly is interesting because there was a massive unlock and there was a dump. And I followed your tweet, and you said buy it now because
and it went up. And it dumped to 7 cents, and it went all the way to 11 cents. I think it might be around 10 cents. Bondly jumped 50% because of an unlock. And again, I remember Polls had a similar dump. Now, it can happen again. Absolutely, it can happen again. These are times I look to accumulate, because you look at Bondly, guys. What Brandon from Bondly just went on Twitch and said was they're not looking for a bond swap. They're looking at a product which is actually going to be similar to PokerStarter. He said they have projects lined up who want to launch, if you don't know, who want to launch on their platform. Bondly also is, if you don't know, Polkadot, because they've said this, that they're going to bid for a parachain on Kusama. It will not surprise me if they did so. Brandon said it on his stream that in February they're going to do a bid. And guys, there's going to be a few projects like Bondly that are not a flagship project. You know, the flagship projects are Robonomics and Fala, Darwinia, but there's going to be a few projects that are non-flagship. If they get a parachain, they will do many multiples. Many multiples, and Bondly's already at 10x right now. I think Bondly for the long term is solid, a solid pick. I think they have a really good line of products. They're also working with Chainlink, guys. They're working with Chainlink to develop their own oracles, Bondly oracles. No, I've not seen anybody do this. Usually, obviously, they're going to use Chainlink, but their ultimate goal in working with Chainlink is so that Chainlink can help them develop their own oracle. So they're actually working on their own ecosystem. And again, they're also NFT. They had a really good NFT platform. So these guys at 88 MPH, these guys are offering you a variety of bullish products and bullish fundamentals.
Alrighty, Mr. Biz, the chat is going wild. The guys want you here more often. I think what we should do is we should make this a regular thing once every 2 weeks on the same day at the same time. I'm going to get my producers to be in touch with you. Let's get a regular Mr. Biz.
And Rand, just because Rand, you my boy, man. I appreciate you having me on, man. I've been a big fan, always been a big fan of you. I got one more call, man. That I think has gone under the radar. They're gonna probably get a parachain. It's Crust. CRU, guys, and I'm gonna tell you why I'm bullish. So I was talking to a couple of my buddies yesterday. I actually was hesitant to go heavy in this because they had a really big unlock coming, but their mainnet was delayed. And I talked to somebody in the team, and he told me that they're actually going to be sending out a revised tokenomics model either today or soon. That's going to show that their unlock is not happening for at least a few months. So what does that mean? That means, guys, Crust's circulating supply is 1 million. It will be 1 million for a few months at least, and its price is about $5. This is a $5 million market cap. They're doing decentralized cloud, guys. This is, if I'm going to give you a shillable line, Filecoin on Polkadot. They're a decentralized cloud. They are the flagship decentralized cloud storage of Polkadot. Gavin Wood spoke about them. When Gavin Wood did a press conference, he did a slide. Crust was one of the projects that he mentioned. And Crust is one of the projects that is bidding for a parachain. So I told you about Darwinia with K-Ton, told you about Fala, I told you about XRT Robonomics. Now I'm telling you, Crust is another one you want to have on your list. Now, again, I do not know, full disclaimer, yes, they will have some token unlocks when the mainnet goes live. But again, 2-3 months is a long time. If they only have 1 million circulating supply, and they're on Huobi, by the way, they're on Uniswap, this could easily do a lot of X's really quickly. Nobody's talking about Crust. And I wanted to give you this because I don't like to do what nobody's talking about, but nobody's talking about Crust. It actually was a Spectre pick. Brown added it. Shout out to Bitcoin Brown. He told me about Fala. He told me about Crust a few months back. But this revised tokenomics leaves me really, really bullish. The fact that there's not going to be unlocks for a few months. So, guys, Crust, load up on that. Is going to pump. Is going to pump.
Right. You see the chat here. The guys are saying, Mr. Biz, don't leave. He has to leave. But you know what? He will come back. We will get a regular.
I got to go, guys. I got to go. But thank you so much, Rand. I appreciate it.
We will get you back here. Let's get a regular slot every second Monday, every second Tuesday. At least then people know when to tune in for Mr. Biz. And
you're putting pressure on me, Rand. I'll do my best to find everybody gems, man. It's a teamwork. Me and guys are Spectre, man. I don't do this alone, man. My boy Bitcoin Brown and Capital, man. These guys, they're the kings, man. I learned everything from them, man. So hopefully, we could figure out what we could do for your audience.
Amazing. Thank you, Mr. Biz. Always love having you on the show, my man.
Thank you.
Big fan.
Big fan of yours too, guys. Thank you.
All right. Another person I'm a huge fan of is Alon Goren. He's been in the space for a long time. He runs conferences. He runs a VC. He's just an all-around great guy, and he's an unbelievable investor. In fact, I think he was one of the people that invested into Luna Crash, which was on here the other day. Is that right? You guys were one of the investors.
Bullish.
Bullish. Alon, what did you think of Mr. Business Calls?
I love it. So I love that he at first I was like, all right, another dude making calls on all these altcoins or whatever, but he had good reasons for every single token. That wasn't just BS. I looked at the chart of this thing that hasn't existed for very long, and I'm making the call. He had insight and inside infos. Great.
The first time we had Mr. Biz on, I kind of had the similar impression where this guy came on, he was shooting names and shooting reasons. Then every single token that he spoke about doubled, 10x, 5x. And I was like, whoa, let's get this guy on again. We got the guy on again. Every token he speaks about, 5x, 2x, 3x. I was like, whoa. This guy knows what he's talking about.
He's a rock star. He's awesome. And the people love him. Watch in the chat.
Yeah, Alon, tell me about what you guys are investing in. I see you guys are making unbelievable moves. I know that Tim Draper came behind you guys. And now, what's the venture called?
So, we are growing and growing and growing. We did our LA Blockchain Summit a couple months ago during quarantine. We did it virtual. And guess what? Just like this show, you make something available for everyone and thousands of people come and watch. So you've been to our conference, our biggest in-person conference, at like 5,000 people. We had like 40,000 people watching live to a crypto conference. So we're trying to make it so that everyone can participate in the space. So if you look at our portfolio, we got like the security token kind of regulated stuff on one side, and we got the DeFi stuff, the really exciting stuff on the other side. And we're trying to make sure that every single person can participate. So right now, only a couple of our companies have tokens that everyone can play with, but we're super excited on all of them. Obviously, Lunar Crush, huge fans of. Our recent one of our big recent bets is in Rivet, which is providing node infrastructure for all of your dApps. So if you're investing in a dApp or in a DeFi project and they're not using Rivet as the underlying node infrastructure, make sure they switch to it because it's the one that ensures the best uptime, the best privacy, and everything else. Prime is killing it right now, and they are very low key. They just launched the first version of the Prime Ratings product. So if you're going to invest in a project like one of the ones that Mr. Biz just told you about, pretty soon you'll be able to see a ton of them on Prime Rating. They'll be rated based on security, based on community, based on all of these things. And I mean, if
you take that and combine it with Lunar Crush, so you say, okay, you take Prime where you get it ranked, and then you add the social metrics. I mean, then you've got pretty much a fundamentals and a pumpamentals all in one.
That's right. And what I threw them together very early, and I was like, you guys have to do something. But here's where I think it gets even better. So they're the first ones to ever work with Balancer to create a DAO governed.
Oh man, looks like we've lost.
You've lost me. You guys there?
Yeah, we got you. We got you back.
Okay.
We got you back.
So they're the first ones ever to do a DAO governed balancer pool. So if you think about this, imagine a future where you can create like a basket of tokens where you can say, I want the top 10 DeFi tokens based on maybe Lunar Crush's data in one pool, but also based on the ratings, based on volume, based on all the things that Prime can do, and then Total, the DEX aggregators product has actually been open sourced for Prime. So you actually can ensure that products in the pool are being swapped at the best rates. So all of a sudden you could have these like liquidity pools for different groups, kind of like what Idle does, except for it'll automatically rebalance. It'll be completely self-driven, be completely robotic, and then the DAO can govern and actually change how it works. So it'll completely change the fundamentals of how you have banking.
Alon, I know you're a big fan of Total, and I'm also a big fan of Total. When I think about what Total was doing back in 2017, Total, by the way, guys, it's spelled T-O-T-L-E. When we looked at it in 2017, Total was the 1 inch almost. So what it was it took all the DEXs and it combined all the DEXs. How is it that 1 inch beat Total to market when it came to a token and it came to getting to $100 million valuation?
I think there's differences in one, Total never released a token. Maybe that has to do with regulation and being US based and things like that. But we own equity in Total. We own ownership in Total, and their volume is going through the roof right now. And it's because you get the best possible prices.
Give me an idea of the volume on Total, guys. And also just give us the website. I know it's Total T-O.
If you go to total.com, Totle.com, but also total.exchange. And what you'll notice if you start comparing it to 1 inch, you start comparing it to the others, it's a part of the aggregator that's built into Uniswap, but you pay fees there. On Total, it's free. You'll notice every time I use it, the larger the trade, the larger the swap, the better Total's performance is. And Total will only provide you positive slippage. So if you're on, you see where it's routed to, you can see how it's being routed, But what you notice on total is you don't see like on Uniswap, here's the estimated amount, and then down below in small, it'll tell you, you'll get at least 1,000 tokens. On total, it'll say you're going to get at least, it'll say front and center, you're going to get at least 1,100 tokens. And usually when you check, when you do the trade, you end up getting more. There's only positive slippage on total, where on the other sites, you'll get negative slippage. You don't realize like, oh shit, it warned me I might go down 5%, but on total, you know what you're getting. And that's really important for large trades.
Amazing. And I'm glad to hear that they're getting a lot of volume. Alon, you've got 1 more minute left. I want to know what your most exciting project in the space is, not necessarily something that you've invested in, one that you're buying, one that you're investing in, where you go, that is my project. I can tell you for me, it's Polkadot. If it's not Polkadot, it's the Graph. I think those two are of the most exciting projects in the space. There is one other one that's coming out very soon, and that's Bondly. That's Bridge Mutual Insurance. So for me, that's another one that is going to be huge, 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 huge. I want to hear, what do you think the most exciting project or projects in the space are for 2021?
So I think that you've mentioned, everybody talking about Polkadot. I agree. I love the Graph, and I have no motivations. Those one of the things I pimp out a lot lately is Zerion, no token, anything like that. It's just for me the best place to check your ERC20 tokens. But what I will say that I kind of surprised myself on, not because I didn't really believe in it, but because I didn't see a lot of things happening in that space that recently completely opened up to me. I'm coming around very hard on Tezos right now, because DeFi on Tezos is opening up. There are DEXs launched on Tezos right now. There are ETH Tez trading pair. There is USD Tez. And we actually just invested in, and so this is where the conflict comes. I'll be totally upfront. We invested in something called Stable Technologies, which is providing a lot of that DeFi infrastructure in Tezos. And because of all of the transaction fees on ETH and all of that, and the fact that there's going to be a simple bridge from ETH to Tezos soon, it's going to get interesting. I really believe like we're going to be surprised by this.
I sold most of my Tezos. I put the money into DOT. I put the money into DOT at $6. Tezos was around $2 at the time. So far, I'm very much in the money, and I wonder what will happen with Tezos. We're out.
You know what? I'm holding for like 10 years plus. I'm an early stage venture guy. So, for me, the short term, BTC is up 300% in a year. ETH is up 600%. I'm stoked on all of it. So we're gambling on made money already. So this is going to be fun.
Alon, so good to see you, man. Welcome. Thank you for coming on Banter, my friend. Nice to see you.
You too. Right. Good to be here.
Alrighty, guys, that is all we have time for today. I'm going to see you again on Monday, same time, same place, 10 a.m. EST. I'm going to wake up the guys in LA. I'm going to wake up the guys on the West Coast, and I'm going to bring you some crypto wisdom. If you are watching us on YouTube, give us some last love. It's been a great show. It's been a great week. We've brought you a lot of wisdoms. Time for us to go. We'll see you again on Monday.
Crypto Banter is a social podcast for entertainment purposes only. All opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, and callers should not be construed as financial advice. Views expressed by guests and hosts do not reflect the views of the station. Listeners are encouraged to do their own research.